You ever hear a sentence that rips through you so violently that you know in that exact moment life has just split into before and after? That's what happened to me the night my wife looked me straight in the eyes, calm as ever, and said, "I'm with my mum." 4 words. Simple. Innocent. She'd used them before. She always had reasons to be at her mum's place, helping with groceries, keeping her company, having a girls' night. I never questioned it. Why would I? Her mum and I got along well. She was kind, warm, the type who'd hug you too long and sneak you leftovers in Tupperware. So when my wife said she was with her mum, I believed her. Except that night, 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed and it was her mum calling, crying. Through sobs she said, "I can't do this anymore. I can't keep lying for her. I thought she'd stop. I thought it was just a phase, but it's gone too far." At first I didn't even understand what she meant. I thought maybe she was sick, maybe she was overwhelmed. But then her words sharpened, cutting straight through the fog. "She's not here. She hasn't been here. She tells you she's with me, but she's with him, and I can't keep covering for her. It's tearing me apart." I froze. My hands went numb, my throat closed. Her mum was crying about the affair too. And in that instant, everything I thought I knew about my life, my marriage, my wife, it all shattered. But let me back up. We'd been married 8 years. Not perfect, but solid, or so I thought. We had our routines. Sunday mornings with coffee and newspapers, Friday nights cooking dinner together, vacations every summer, even if they were small road trips. People looked at us and saw a couple that worked, stable, steady, and I believed it too. Sure, the spark had dimmed a little. We weren't newlyweds anymore, but I thought that was normal. I thought comfort was what love evolved into. Then the changes came. Subtle at first. She started working late more often, started guarding her phone like it held nuclear codes. She got more girls' nights, more sudden errands, and when I asked questions, she sighed, accused me of being insecure, said I needed to trust her. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. Because the alternative, the suspicion creeping into my gut, was unbearable. So when she said she was with her mum, I accepted it. I let it soothe me, like a child clutching a blanket in the dark. Until that night when her mum's voice cracked through the illusion. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I should have told you sooner." She swore she'd stop. She promised me, but she didn't. She keeps using me as an excuse, and I can't watch you suffer anymore without knowing the truth. I couldn't even speak. My mouth opened, but no words came out. I sat there on the couch, staring at the wall, listening to my mother-in-law cry about her own daughter betraying me. Finally I whispered, "Who?" She hesitated, then said a name. Not a stranger, not some distant fling, someone close, too close. It was a co-worker, a man I'd met at her office parties, a man who'd shaken my hand, looked me in the eye, asked about our vacations, joked with me about sports. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I'd be sick. Her mum kept talking, apologizing, begging me not to tell her she'd called, saying she couldn't carry the secret anymore. I barely heard her. My blood roared in my ears. When I finally hung up, I sat in silence for what felt like hours. I replayed every late night, every girls' night, every excuse about being with her mum. It all lined up now, perfectly, horrifically, and yet when she came home later that night, smiling faintly, setting her purse on the counter, I didn't say a word. She kissed me on the cheek, asked if I'd eaten, and I stood there looking at her, my chest on fire, my hands clenched into fists, thinking, how can you stand there and lie so easily? But I didn't confront her, not then, because the moment I had her mum's words I realized something. If I went at her without proof, she'd twist it, she'd deny, she'd spin it until I was the paranoid husband, the insecure fool. She'd weaponize my doubt. So I stayed silent. I smiled back. I nodded. I said, "Dinner sounds good." Inside I made a decision. I was going to find proof, not just for me, not just to confront her, but because her mum deserved to be free of the lies too. She'd carried the weight long enough. Over the next week, I became a detective in my own home. I checked her phone when she showered. Nothing. She was too smart for that. I looked at credit card statements. There, little clues. Restaurants near his office. A hotel charge. Just one night. Conference rate. I started driving by places she claimed to be. Once, she said she was at her mum's. I drove past. No car in the driveway. Lights off. Another time she said she was working late. I stopped by her office. Her car wasn't there. Every lie unraveled into another thread. And through it all, I kept thinking about her mum's tears. The way her voice broke when she said, "I can't keep lying for her." That kind of pain doesn't come from malice. It comes from love. Love twisted into guilt. One night, I decided to test it. She told me again she was at her mum's. I waited an hour, then called her mum directly. She picked up, voice tense. "Is she with you?" I asked, my voice steady. Silence. Long silence. Then a whisper. "No, I'm sorry." I thanked her, hung up, and sat there in the dark, my heart pounding. That was it. The confirmation. She wasn't just betraying me. She was using the woman who raised her as a shield. She was dragging her mother into the dirt with her lies. And somehow, that made me angrier than the affair itself. Because betrayal between husband and wife is one thing, but forcing your own mother to cover for you, that's a different kind of cruelty. That night, as she walked back into the house humming to herself, scrolling on her phone, I looked at her and thought, I don't even know you anymore, but I stayed quiet. I let her think I was still blind, because I knew when the truth came out, I wanted it to hit her like a freight train. I wanted her to feel what I felt when her mum's voice cracked over the phone. The shock, the shame, the collapse of everything she thought was safe. So I kept gathering, quiet, patient, methodical, because one day soon, she was going to be surprised. And this time, she wouldn't be able to laugh it off or hide behind her mother's tears. The strangest part about carrying around the knowledge of betrayal is how quiet it feels. People think it's rage, that you're pacing the floor, throwing things, screaming inside your head. And sure, at first there's that. But once you really know, the noise dies down. It's just stillness, a heavy, suffocating quiet. That's where I was living, smiling when she came home, asking about her day, letting her kiss my cheek, pretending I didn't notice the faint smell of cologne that wasn't mine. Meanwhile, her mum's voice kept echoing in my skull, broken and trembling. She's not here. She hasn't been here. She tells you she's with me, but she's with him, and I can't keep covering for her. I couldn't unhear it, and I couldn't let it go. So I built my plan. I started by gathering everything I could, every receipt, every discrepancy, every excuse that didn't hold water. I took screenshots when I could. I matched dates and times, and when I couldn't, I just wrote things down in a notebook like some detective on a case. At night, when she thought I was asleep, I'd stare at the ceiling, going over the details again and again, like solving an equation where the answer kept coming out wrong no matter how I arranged the numbers. And then one Friday, opportunity dropped into my lap. She told me she was spending the weekend at her mum's girls' night, movies, wine, you know how it is. She kissed me goodbye, tossed her bag into her car and drove off. Not 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Her mum again, crying. She's not here, she said immediately, her voice breaking. She told you she was with me, didn't she? My chest tightened. Yeah, she's with him. I can't keep this secret anymore. I feel sick every time I lie to you. I closed my eyes, gripping the phone so tightly it hurt. Where? Her mum hesitated. Then she whispered an address, a hotel. I thanked her. My voice sounded calm, but my blood was roaring. That night I drove to the hotel, parked across the street, sat there in the dark, staring at the glowing windows, my heart hammering. And then, like a knife to the gut, I saw them, walking in together, smiling, her hand brushing his arm like it was the most natural thing in the world. I filmed it. My hands shook, but I got it. Them together, walking into the lobby. Proof. And then I left. I didn't storm in. I didn't scream. I didn't confront them in the moment. Because I wanted her to feel what I felt the night her mum called me sobbing. I wanted her to feel blindsided, shattered, exposed. So I planned the reveal. The next week I invited her mum over. I told my wife it was just dinner, that I wanted to spend time with family. She smiled, relieved, probably thinking I was making an effort to reconnect. She even dressed up, cooked her favorite dish, poured wine, played the part of the devoted wife. Her mum arrived, eyes red, shoulders tense. She hugged me tight, whispered, "Are you sure?" I nodded. We sat at the table, eating, chatting. My wife laughed, her voice bright, as if nothing was wrong, but I could see her mum struggling, pushing food around her plate, unable to meet her daughter's eyes. Halfway through the meal, I stood. My voice was calm, steady. "I've been meaning to share something." My wife looked up, smiling. "Oh." I pulled out my phone, tapped the screen, and placed it on the table. The video began to play. Her smile froze. There she was, on the screen, walking into the hotel with him, clear as day, her hand on his arm, his grin, her laughter. The color drained from her face. She reached for the phone, panicked. "What is this?" I pulled it back. "This is what you were doing the night you said you were with your mum. This is what you've been doing for months." Her mum burst into tears. "I told him," she sobbed. "I couldn't lie anymore. I couldn't keep covering for you." My wife's eyes shot to her mother. You told him." Her mum nodded, trembling. "How could you use me like that? How could you drag me into your lies?" The room went silent, heavy with the weight of truth. Finally, I spoke. "You said you missed intimacy. What you meant was, you missed honesty. But you didn't want it with me. You wanted it with him, and you made your own mother lie for you." She started crying, reaching for me. "Please, please, it's not what it looks like. We can fix this. I'll end it." I shook my head. "You already ended it. The night you laughed at me for asking questions. The night you told me I was paranoid. The night you used your mum as a shield for your lies." Her mother stood, tears streaming down her face. "I can't be part of this anymore." She walked out, her sobs echoing through the hallway. My wife collapsed into her chair, sobbing, begging me not to leave her. But I just looked at her, calm, steady, hollow. "I'm done," I said. You love surprises. Here's one. I've already filed. Her head shot up, eyes wide. You what? I pulled an envelope from my bag, set it on the table. Divorce papers, signed. She stared at them like they were a death sentence, and in a way they were. I left her there, sitting at the table, her dinner cold, her lies exposed, her mother gone. The aftermath wasn't pretty. She begged, then raged, then begged again. She texted me paragraphs, voicemails at 3 a.m. Even showed up at my work once, sobbing in the parking lot, but I didn't budge. Because every time I thought about giving her another chance, I remembered her mum's voice cracking on the phone, crying about having to cover for her own daughter. The affair destroyed more than just our marriage. It fractured her family. Her mum barely spoke to her for months, ashamed of the lies, heartbroken by the betrayal. Her father, once proud of her, looked at her with disappointment, heavy in his eyes. Friends took sides. Some tried to defend her, but most couldn't. The truth was too clear. As for me, I rebuilt, slowly, quietly. With scars, yes, but also with clarity. Because now I know what betrayal sounds like. It sounds like a mother crying on the phone, begging forgiveness for a lie she never wanted to tell. And now, I also know what freedom sounds like. It's silence, peaceful and steady, without the weight of secrets pressing down on my chest. She said she was with her mum, but her mum was crying on the phone about the affair too. And that's the kind of truth you don't recover from. That was the day everything ended. And the day I finally began again.